Then put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb, babe. I got you, babe. I got you, babe. Okay, cameras, rise and shine. Don't forget, it's cold out there today. It's cold out there today. Not hard, like expecting hazard travel today. What was that blizzard thing?
That blizzard thing. Oh, yes, that blizzard thing. Well, the news report here says that you got a big blizzard thing coming in. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. And you know what makes today especially interesting?
Especially cold.
Yes, especially cold is the question on everybody's lips.
Their chap lips.
Yes, their chap lips is, will Phil come out and see his shadow?
Punxsutawney Phil.
That's right, boys. It's Groundhog Day. Hey, everybody, I'm Randy.
I'm Bobby.
And we should probably slow it down.
Okay, now we can slow down. Now we're back to normal speed.
Normal speed.
Today is Sunday, July 7th, 2019.
2019-07-07. Yep, Trump is still in office. And if you had noticed, 2 episodes went up at the same time the other week,
I don't
which is
think
okay.
Anybody would have noticed. Okay.
I like to keep the illusion.
One person noticed.
Maybe.
I uploaded 2 episodes last week because I got lazy.
This was the 31st watch of Groundhog Day.
Wow, 31.
31. We're more than halfway there.
Mm-hmm.
We only have 21 episodes left to watch of this.
Oh, yeah? Wow. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
That seems like not a lot now. I was like, I'll have to watch this 21 more times. It'll be like December, but okay.
So how was your watch this week?
I did watch the movie yesterday.
Yeah.
Today is Sunday. We usually record on a Saturday, but we got an extra day today because Randy was busy or something yesterday.
Yep, busy with resting. That's all I wanted yesterday. I didn't have to do anything today or
That was it? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I thought you had actual business.
Nope. I relaxed the whole day. I didn't have to interact with anybody.
God.
It's better than having to do it on a Sunday.
Well, anyway.
So yeah, your watch was just the same old.
Yeah, my watch is the same old. And then I was pretty drunk, so I didn't bother to take any notes. So what I did today was I kind of did a quick rewatch, but with just the Larry edit.
So next week I think you have to do it like
no
dead
Larry.
sober. Dead sober.
Oh no.
Hey, if I can watch my watches, we can be at normal speed with English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing.
Oh boy.
You can do it stone cold sober.
Okay.
Because I've been watching this movie at mostly 1.5 speed at the halfway point of the film because I can't take it anymore, and I like this movie.
You literally start, like, your brain starts hating looking at this.
No, you become disconnected from reality. Everybody doesn't seem to move real. I'm like, I think they're imposters. There's something wrong with the film.
It's like it's like eating sugar, and like you get too much sugar, and you're just like, you want to puke. You're like, I don't want any more in my system. It's like, I can't look at your fucking scenes again.
And like I said, I still like this movie, but
my brain is rejecting looking at the screen.
I'm literally at the point
where keep pausing.
Where I need to go to rehab now to get this out of my system so I can this film again.
I keep pausing and like doing something else for a little bit. That was what my watch was like. I kept stopping and like I'd get up and I'd like dick around on Reddit. I'd dick around on YouTube or something for a while.
Oh, no,
all right, guys, let's hit play again.
I kept the cold rule. I had the thing open a little bit.
Something to eat.
To answer myself questions or to talk to you on and off.
Drunker.
Watch a movie. So
I couldn't take it.
Let's move on here.
All right, tell us your story.
No, not my story. This week I took notes, but I'm not Bobby and his serial killer notes. I have literally a page of notes, and it's just some quick jots of things just to bring stuff up. We watched Groundhog Day, the musical, last week. A bootleg of it. A really bad bootleg of it. And one of the things that we picked up there that I don't think we picked up in the play there, she's not new. Like he's worked with her before, they worked one time before, yada yada yada. So I'm like, okay, let me watch some of this movie here. I want to pay close attention because some of these things my brain is now glossing over because I've seen the movie so often, and it's like,
it's like your brain
it sands off some of the edges. You don't notice details anymore.
I have a thing for you. I was looking. I didn't send it to you, but there was like a little thing I saw where there's like an entire paragraph that's written, and it's just like, I'll send it to you later. But it was just like they've written the whole thing where the first and last letter of every word is normal, but the letters in between are all mixed up. And when you read it, like, your brain can read the sentence normally because your brain automatically fills in the gaps.
Yeah, my English teacher gave that to me.
If you can read this normally, you are one of the people who's able to fill in the gaps with your brain. And, like, that's what my brain does when I watch Groundhog Day. I just fill in the gaps now.
Yeah. So as I was saying, one of the very first lines, or one of the only lines that Kenny, the little known but well-loved character Kenny, that little bald rat-faced Fink who wants to take over Phil's job.
Kind of looks like Ned when you think about it.
starts talking about Rita, and he goes, "You haven't worked with her yet, have you?" So it's like that's indicating no, they don't have any relationship. He's like,
"Yep."
Before,
that's why the musical's a retcon.
And then the add-on, like this is all the add-on stuff to make sure that you understand that they have.
Last scene they filmed.
And then they're in the van. He looks at her at some point. He goes, "You are new, aren't you?" Like she's brand new. He's not worked with her at all.
Yep. And that was the original cut.
And then. Just another little things that stood out to me was I never noticed this before, but on February 1st, like before they drop him off, like that your favorite transition about with Larry saying he's the talent or whatever the hell the line is now.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, I'll tell you what the exact line is.
No, please don't, because we're gonna get to it in a minute. We're gonna get to all of Larry's lines in a minute.
I know, but it'll help me. I know. It ends with prima donnas, and it's the awkward cut as they're about to laugh. That one, Bill Murray looks like the dead. He's like pale. He's like he looks clammy. He looks like he just woke up out of a coffin.
Already established his face looks like a mask.
No, sometimes he has colors, and sometimes he just looks like the undead. So I'm curious.
Maybe those were the days when he was drunk or something. And he just didn't give a fuck.
Oh, he's always the professional. No, he's always the professional.
Sitting
you hear that,
trailer,
Bill?
Not letting anybody talk to him, making him talk to a deaf mute.
And then the thing that popped out to me just facial acting wise is in the psychiatrist's office. They're having this conversation. Phil's like, okay, yep. And the psychiatrist says to him, "I think we should meet again." Cut to Phil, and Phil goes. And then he goes, "How about tomorrow?" And then Phil puts the pillow over his face and starts bashing. What did he think he was going to say? Let's meet again. When's he going to meet you again, Phil?
Same day.
You're not in lineal time. What, you think he's going to see you again later in the day? No, he's not. He's living in a loop.
He could have kept pursuing that route and just going to the psychiatrist every day and like he did at the piano teacher and just progressing so fast.
Yeah, but the psychiatrist asks him, "We should meet again," and Phil's reaction is, "Okay." And it's like, "How about tomorrow?"
But wasn't that day 2 or 3? That's day 3, right?
I think that's day 3.
So at that time, he wasn't really that savvy.
He's like punching himself in the head at the point. It's like, "Oh no!" It's like, "Why would you say that? I just explained to you I'm living in a loop." And it's like, "But why would you have that reaction when you know that he's gonna say tomorrow? Because when would you meet again?"
That was the same day. He just still didn't really know how to handle it. I think he was pretty new to the loop. We call them fresh loopers.
And then something I'm just popped up to me. I might have brought it up before, but does Phil rob the bank every day?
Well, we know he's done it some days. I think he only did that during his I'm gonna be a hedonist binge.
And I know they.
And after that, he kind of quit.
And taking from the non-film canon, going towards the theater stage musical canon. I know he makes a reference at some point in the dialogue to having multiple thing.
He's like I've stolen $180 million or something.
Yeah,
like that
like over and over again. So it's like I don't know. And then I was starting to watch for references to God or the religious, and there's surprisingly not that many. You know who the first person who brings up God in this film is?
Oh man, I know Phil and Rita have that conversation where she's like,
that's before. It's gonna surprise you because some people might say that this person would have a preoccupation with God. Ned is the one that brings up God for the very first time. Before he starts talking about a senior premium life. He goes, "Oh God," and he starts. It's like he literally just slaps. He goes, "Oh God," and he starts going on his spiel about insurance.
He says, "Oh God."
He says, "Oh God." He says, "Oh God," and he says another line. Then he starts going on about a single premium life.
And by the way, can I also interest you in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or the Jehovah's Witnesses, or the Moonies? Where the fuck that?
But yeah, he literally just goes, "Oh God." It's like. We should go to have dinner. It's like he's searching that.
Every annoying thing is like, would you like to buy some insurance? And also, while you're here, can I interest you in coming to Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall meeting? It's totally non-committal. You can just come in and drop in.
And then the next reference to any religious element in this thing is in his screed.
We're not a cult.
The screed against Scientology. No, against Puxatawny Phil. He starts talking like people worshiping a rat, waiting to worship a rat.
Well, that's Phil's line.
Yeah, that's a rat. That's the next time you hear any references to religious in the movie is him going on about a screed about people coming here to worship a rat.
Paganism,
which immediately turns him into Nietzsche because he goes out and he tries to kill God because they're worshiping that ground rat.
If you see a groundhog in the road, kill him.
Yes, that is Buddhist. And then the third time is, you only get it from Rita and Phil during their conversation. After that, there's no reference to the afterlife, the
Phil,
God,
you
nothing.
are not a god. This is 12 years of Catholic school talking.
Only 3 times mentioned. Like 3 situations that even reference to religiousness in this movie.
No, doesn't he also say, like, when he's going his crazy rant, he's just like, he says, that this day's never going to end, not as long as Phil keeps seeing his shadow. It kind of is a little bit...
No, it's not. No, he's falling into like paranoid delusions at that point.
Not as long as he keeps seeing his shadow.
But and then I also came to the realization that something I missed from like the earlier draft I read in that How to Write Groundhog Day that Danny Rubin had put out is that in the original one of the original drafts of the screenplay of this film there was an implication that there were other people that had tried to kill the groundhog before, and I kind of missed having that in the final product.
Oh yeah,
because there's every once in a while in the script somebody goes, "Fuck Phil, fuck the Johnny Pal," and Pete, there's obviously been attempts on his life because when he goes try to kill the groundhog, there's bulletproof glass. It's like okay,
oh yeah, that was what we talked about. How there was other loopers who obviously
that's what it was. And then just to fast forward a little bit.
I remember that from like an early episode. My brain is like digging that up.
This is me rebuting musical Rita about not being able to fall in love on the first rebuking her saying you can't fall in love on a first day. Mm-hmm. The first time I saw you, something happened to me. I never told you, but I knew. I wanted to hold you as hard as I could. I don't deserve someone like you. I swear I would love you for the rest of my life. And that's what Phil says to Rita in the bed. You can fall in love at first sight. Mm-hmm. That's what the movie's telling you. You can fall in love at first sight.
I mean, that's when she's sleeping?
Yeah, when he's sleeping. When they're sleeping together.
Yeah, when she is...
They're just friends spooning.
Yeah.
And then that makes you realize that at the beginning of the movie, when she's playing in front of the blue screen, that's when he first sees her and falls in love with her.
Yes, Randy.
And
which was February 1st.
February the 1st.
And as we know, he's never seen her before.
And this has just stood out to me just because I have to repeat this, and I should have let off with this thing here, just because it's a stupid observation.
Please. By all means.
No. Like I said, I watched it this week at normal speed with English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing. Mm-hmm. And at the end of it, when he says the line, "Anything different is good," I went, yes, you're right. Watching this movie with the slight difference of seeing... The words
on the screen.
The words on the screen. But because it's for the deaf and hard of hearing, they place the words underneath the people who are talking, or if they're not on the screen, they tell you who's talking. And so it's like, that made it all the difference. And I was reading along out loud with it for most of the movie until I started losing my voice. That was my viewing of the movie.
So in other words, you became the, hi, welcome to DirecTV setup.
The question I have to ask, though, is that they like... So this is for the deaf and hard of hearing. Mm-hmm. So I guess this might be for the hard of hearing, but whenever a musical song, like a music comes on the screen, like it comes on,
it shows the musical notes.
No, it says underneath it. It's like Rachmaninoff, yada yada yada, or it says
the name of the song?
It says the Pennsylvania Polka as written by, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, how would the deaf people know what that even means?
Oh, if they could read music.
If they could read music,
or if they're hard of hearing,
how would they know? Yeah,
maybe they're hard of hearing.
I'm assuming that's for the hard of hearing.
Maybe like Beethoven, man, they used to be able to hear and they went deaf.
Maybe, but that's like I said. It's like you're sitting there. It's like how do they know what it sounds like?
Oh man, and how could blind people know what color looks like, man?
Okay, we may be in a place where pot is legalized, but don't bring that into this. Yeah. Stop looking at your hands like they're humongous.
All right, this week I did the Larry edit of the movie. I've talked about this before, but I decided to finally do some homework and do this. And
by Larry edit, he means he wrote down every scene. He timestamped it so that one of us can one of these days just cut the actual
every single Larry line I timestamped, and as well as any time when he was just the focus of the camera, but he doesn't say anything. So Randy's gonna bring that up so I can read it now.
Oh, you want to read it? So you can just scroll down on here.
Oh God, I don't know how to work these things. All right.
As you know from previous podcasts, Bobby's in his 30s, so he's old. He doesn't understand this newfangled technology.
I'm just too poor to afford a smartphone. So these are the timestamps in the DVD version of the movie. I don't know if it's different in the Blu-ray, but
it should be roughly equivalent.
2:45 into the movie, the the second beginning that they added in, or the first beginning that they added in last.
The first introduction of Kenny.
Mm-hmm. Right into that scene, Larry says that would be the Home Shopping Network. At 4:43 in, he says, I don't understand what's wrong with the Groundhog Festival. You know, when I worked in San Diego, I covered the swallows returning to Capistrano 6 years in a row.
I can repeat that line without even having to read it.
At 5 minutes 12 seconds in, we could just see a shot of him just chewing his gum. Just his face chewing gum.
Isn't this exciting, folks?
At 6:34, he says, prima donnas. At 7:22, he says, did he actually call himself the Talent? At 15:14, he says prima donnas again. Oh, I fucked up.
Oh no, he fucked up.
Okay. At 15:30, he says, oh boy, take a look at this. At 15:34, oh, I don't know, Phil. Perhaps it's that giant blizzard we're not supposed to get. Okay, at 15:40,
he honks horn.
He says, oh, hey, no. Nobody honks his horn but me, okay, pal? At 15:58, he honks the horn. At 17:35, he fake slap. That's so funny, Phil. I think that's when Phil makes a comment about his sweater.
This is, it's the Girl Scouts line. This is just about as exciting or less so than me talking about a map.
I don't care. We're going through all of them. This is all of Chris Elliott's lines in the entire film, and it's not much longer. At 23:07, he says, if you need any help with after Phil gets slapped, he says, if you need any help with the other cheek, let me know. I'm right here. At 23:27, he says, Rita! At 24 minutes and 28 seconds, he looks at Rita and looks like he's about to say something, but I believe a line was cut there. But at 26:53, he says, prima donnas again. At 28:04, he says, you guys ready? We better get going and forgetting to stay ahead of the weather.
Is that his catchphrase?
That and prima donna seem to be his catchphrase because he says it a lot. Both those things a lot. At 23:18, he just nods. Not sure which one that one is. That might be the time when Phil was going like, "What is it, Larry? Oh, what are you? You got a problem with this?" And he's like, nod. At 37:37 minutes 37 seconds, he has a shocked look. Oh, when Phil has the food. Are you guys ready? We better get going if we're gonna stay ahead of the weather. Oh no, sorry, that wasn't that. No, sorry, that wasn't it. That was the nod was something else. At 58:56, shakes head no. That's when he's Phil is saying, you got a problem with this, Larry? He's like, So I forget why he nods at 28:13, but it doesn't matter now. At 1 hour 22 seconds in, he says, real good, Phil, real good. Then waits a beat, looks at Reed and says, he's out of his gourd. At 1 hour 36 seconds, there's a lot of things really wrong with Phil. At 1 hour 1 minute 32 seconds, I could probably think of a couple of reasons. Pervert. When Rita asks what he could.
Implying he's gonna diddle the groundhog.
Mm-hmm. Instead, it just bites his finger. At 1 hour 2 minutes and 5 seconds, this ought to be good. At 1 hour 3 minutes 23 seconds, what the hell is he doing? At 1 hour 4 minutes 14 seconds, he might be okay. Explosion. Well, no, probably not now. At 1 hour 105:53, he was a really, really great guy. I really, really liked him a lot when he's looking at Phil's body. 109:33. Are you guys ready? We better get going. We're going to stay ahead of the weather.
Rule of 3.
109:38. What's that? 116:08. Yeah, thanks, Phil. Oh, I think this is when he's giving him the coffee.
Yeah.
And then at 1:16.
I was gonna say, why all the sass with that line, Bobby? Well, thanks, Phil.
Actually, it's not that. It's like he's like, yeah, thanks, Phil.
Thanks, Phil.
And then at 1:16:15, when Phil gives him the donut, whatever the hell it was. Yeah, thanks, Phil. Raspberry, great. We're getting to the end now, folks. At 1:16:30, yeah, let's go for it. At 1:16:38,
let's go for it. Go for it.
Let's go for it. When Phil's saying like, we should set up the shot over there. Oopsie.
Yeah, let's go for it.
At 1:16:38, at 1:22:37, he shakes Phil's hand. Hey man, you touched me. Then a beat later, thank you. Oh, and he says, thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry. And he's like, thank you. At 1:24:26, this is when we get to the final scene of the film where he's talking to Nancy. Oh, people just don't understand what is involved in this. This is an art form. You know, I think that most people just think that I hold a camera and point it at stuff, but there's a heck of a lot more to it than just that. Hey, would you be at all interested in seeing the inside of a van?
You sound like you were stalking Larry and just writing down everything he was saying in real life.
At 125.08, great idea. I think I'll go with you. Let me just drop the tip. Okay. Then we see him take back half the tip. At 125.19, Rita, hi, how are you? Rita, this is Nancy. Nancy, Rita, we were just going to go to the party. You want to go? You going to go? Sorry. At 125.31, great. At 125.51, dances, then tries to put his arm around Nancy, then she takes it off. At 1:30:27, we see a shot of him chewing gum. At 1:30:59, we see him looking surprised. I believe that's when they're bidding on Phil.
Yep.
When Nancy throws a bid on Phil. At 1:31:20, when Rita bids on him, Phil, he claps. At 1:31:42, he runs onto the stage and then spins in a circle as a drum plays. And finally, the last time we see Larry is 1:32:10. When he looks into the crowd with his hand over his eyes, sees that the old lady bid on him and mouths, "Oh, shit."
And with that, that was the 31st episode of...
Oh, wait, we didn't talk about the other movie we just watched.
That's why I'm looking at you like, wow, that was 7 minutes, Bobby. That was about as exciting as the map episode.
So 7 minutes was as all of Larry would be the Larry edit.
No, that's 7 minutes of you reading the Larry edit.
Yeah, so it would be slightly shorter.
It'd probably be a little bit like 10 because you would have a little bit more of the actual scene in it. Mm-hmm. The setup, it would just be because if you wanted to have.
So he's in about 10 minutes of a 1 hour 40 movie.
Yep.
There you go.
His role is so unimportant. So as we've been doing the last couple of weeks, and you now only have, I'll give you 5 minutes on this.
Okay. Randy will grant me 5 minutes. It's not a very good
I'll give you
movie.
10 if you want. I don't care.
All right, we're going to talk about another movie now we just watched. As you know,
one of the Groundhog derivatives.
We're talking about another time loop movie. This one is called
2014's Edge of Tomorrow, a.k.a. Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, it had a lot of titles, starring Tom Cruise and some girl.
Emily Blunt.
Emily smoking a blunt.
Bill Paxton.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. And a bunch of other people you don't really care about.
A bunch of throwaway, unimportant characters. I don't know if you want me to read all this crap that I wrote down.
Just the most important stuff that you want to bring up.
This is a reimagining, except it takes place in basically a Starship Troopers type universe where he has to fight aliens.
Yeah, it's okay. So
every day he loops back and has to redo the battle. So the plot
of the movie is it's the final battle in a war against the aliens who are trying to take over the planet. Mm-hmm. Tom Cruise dies somehow and becomes connected with an alien, and he starts looping.
This is about an hour 50, so it's a little longer than
an hour and
Groundhog
52
Day.
minutes. Yeah,
and movie, it felt long.
I like this movie, except for the last 5 minutes of the film.
It felt long.
I hate the last 5 minutes of this film.
I felt like again, I didn't say this here until the end, but I felt like it should have been a miniseries instead of a movie because it felt like really poorly paced. Like everything happens so fast, like we don't really get to know the characters very well.
Yeah, it was a 1-volume light novel called All You Need Is Kill. I can't remember the author off the top of my head. And it was adapted into a 2-volume manga. So, yeah, it's something that needed to be a little bit more than an hour and 50-minute movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But what did you actually think of the movie before you start talking about your little details? Did you like it? You didn't like it?
I wouldn't watch it again.
Wow, I'm surprised. I enjoy this movie. I hate that last 5 minutes.
There's too much action scenes and not enough character development. And again, that's the problem with the pacing is because, they don't have enough time to give us the characters' personalities. We only learn a very little about them.
We are watching what would be considered an American action film.
But then the problem is they tried to cram a romance in there with the girl.
Well, they have to when your main character's name is Bill and your leading lady's name is Rita.
They literally took the same names almost.
There was no Nancy, unfortunately.
No, and there was no
Larry.
No
but
Ned.
I guess Larry might have been the Bill Paxton character.
Yeah.
And maybe Ned would have been
the general,
the drill sergeant.
The drill sergeant, yeah. I guess so. So, yeah, I don't know if I want to go through all this shit. He's an officer. He dies in the first. This part made no sense to me.
Go to what doesn't make sense for you in this movie.
He starts out as an officer. He's told he's going to be sent to the front lines. He's like, I'm actually just, I'm not trained for combat. I was actually just joined for college or whatever. They're like, well, you're going. He tries to run away, and he either dies or gets knocked out. It's
no, they
unclear.
knock him out. They capture him. Like
okay, I thought they killed him.
No, military police knock him out, and they drag him to.
Okay. So he wakes up, and now he's a private. So somehow he got demoted all the way to private.
They demoted him all the way down to private,
which makes no sense because if you're in the military, an officer, the O side is completely different than the E side, and you cannot be demoted from officer to enlisted. You just be fired.
But as I have to point out to you, Bobby, suspension of disbelief. This is a sci-fi universe in which all of the planet Earth are under one command.
Yeah.
So there has been changing in how that is handled.
And also, yeah, we're wondering why he wasn't just sent to a military prison for attempting to desert.
Yeah, that's something I never understood because it's like, would you want somebody you're saying is a liar who's pretending to be an officer?
But again, he's not pretending to be an officer. He was an officer.
But that's the excuse they're using.
But they made up a story about how he was impersonating an officer.
And who's basically been an officer who's busted down to private, who's they're saying is a coward. Do you want to send him to the front line?
Mm-hmm.
No, you want him to put him in front of a tank and like tape him to a tank and have him just be that extra cushion for nothing.
And this one, yeah, they all get kind of mini mech suits. He can't get his gun to work for the first couple of shots. They don't tell him how to work the gun.
He's so untrained, he has nothing to do. But like I said, just go for what you don't like about the movie. You don't need to do.
It went very fast. He already on day 2 he was already remembering the lines.
Yeah,
that everybody has, which we felt went a little too fast.
We needed a day 3. We needed that second day of him just going. Okay, I'm having this really weird feeling of deja vu.
What the fuck? Was that all a dream?
Yeah, day 3, if they did it again and he started doing the like line here and there, be like, okay.
Day 2 should have just been him being confused, like, what the fuck? But it was like already he's just like saying the lines, like I know.
Not all of them, just like random
Some of
lines.
the lines. He's like, I know what's gonna. He was already saying. He was already doing what Phil does was like, oh, this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. And it was just like that felt too fast. So again, pacing is bad. We see a lot of scenes of a fat man being crushed by a plane. One of the other soldiers.
A naked fat man who's naked for all of but his exosuit.
Who I kind of thought was going to be sort of a character, but he wasn't.
You think all the rejects that they have are going to be characters, but they're not.
Nope. We do meet a girl who I called Supergirl.
I don't know how he could not remember her name when her name is literally Rita and they call her the Full Metal Bitch.
It doesn't matter. I call her Supergirl. And, yeah, she kills him. She dies the first day, the second day she kills him. That becomes his love interest.
That becomes his love interest. He has to prove to her that he's relived the loop. You find out that she's been living...
And then she says, oh, but she's like, this happened. She's like, come find me. And then she later, like, he finds her the next loop and she explains, like, oh, this happened to me before.
She initially tells him, like, it's a penthouse letter, like, I didn't believe this would happen until it happened to me. It's like sort of situation.
And then she exposition dumps on him that, like, some of the alien blood got on you and it's causing it, and that's what's making the time loop. You stole some of their power.
Yeah, so, and then you get this long montage of just him training with her to learn how to use his looping to it better, yada, 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 until finally the MacGuffin of, you get visions.
I know, we're told, like, if he doesn't die, if he's not killed, he'll lose the power. If he, like...
No, not if he's not killed. If they give him a blood transfusion before he dies.
Well, the first time I wrote it wrong because it sounded like if you just don't die that day, you lose the power.
No, it's always all about blood transfusion.
Yeah, if you get a blood transfusion because I guess it's caused by alien blood, so it's sort of like midichlorians in the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah, you need to keep it in
your system.
Yeah, circulating in your system in order for it to work.
And then we see a montage of him like training, and every time he fucks up or gets injured, she kills him. We call this the Rita date.
Yeah. You have 2 minutes. And we still have to talk about the ending.
Again, we learn a very quick thing that Supergirl's had a boyfriend who died repeatedly, and that's why she can't love again. Which is, like, again, like, we don't care about any of these characters. They're all just action figures. He falls in love with Rita very quickly. Doesn't want her to die, so he keeps fucking up things to try to save her life.
He becomes depressed by not being able to save her life.
Instead of just trying to kill the alien brain that they're supposed to be doing, he just, like, tries to save her. Later on in the movie, he does get a blood transfusion and now loses the power, and now they only have one chance.
After discovering through another MacGuffin that they're hiding, the big brain, the Omega, is hiding underneath the Louvre in France, and that they have to go there to kill it to end it all, and which leads to the final 5 minutes of the movie, which I absolutely hate.
Well, let me get to my notes. So much happens off camera. This should have been a 6-episode miniseries due to the bad pacing.
30 seconds.
All the throwaway characters die.
Yep.
Of course, Supergirl must live so they can have a romance. This is poor. This part of the movie is poorly lit. We at the end of the movie they just stop caring about lighting and the whole thing is in the dark. It's raining men, and the ending makes no sense.
So what happens at the ending is they kill the big brain, and then after the brain dies, it bleeds on Bill. Bill wakes up on the very first day when he was going to meet the general before he deserted.
Yeah.
And the brain has apparently died, and nobody knows that it was even there to begin with. The end.
They just say like, "Oh, there was a mysterious explosion, and the enemy started dying," or is a mysterious power surge.
We're in overtime now,
and we're just like, so what's the point of the loop now?
The loop doesn't exist anymore. So what I was reading on Reddit, I'll give the credit to the guy from a couple of years ago. I'm not going to read the whole entire theory. Just to explain. So this ending is really dumb. This is from Kaiichi81. This is from October 8th, 2014. So basically, he broke down the ending into 3 parts. Tom Cruise getting bled on by the Omega causes it to become the Omega. So when he dies, he resets back to the earlier point before the battle started. So it's not the time he woke up, but before that battle itself.
Okay.
So he is the Omega, and as the Omega, he's the only one that can remember what happened in the loop. That's the way the guy explains is that the Omega has to is the one resetting the loop every time it happens. Every time. So the Alphas don't remember what's happening.
Okay.
But the Omega does. Always, continuously, for everybody, not just himself.
But he also remembered when an Alpha bled on him. It makes no sense.
So what happens eventually... Well, no, it's because, remember, they say that the Alphas are part of the Omega, but they themselves don't remember anything because they are just part of this body.
They're just like a drone.
Yeah. So when it resets, there can literally be only one of them to reset the loop. So when it respawns that day earlier, or that day and a half earlier, maybe it's a 24-hour thing. The brain immediately succumbs to the injuries that it had taken from the explosion, and dies. And that's why I went to get
no sense because there was nothing causing it any physical trauma.
Like I said, I hate the last 5 minutes of this movie. It's so dumb that for a movie that is generally just kind of a fun action film.
Okay, so
good use of the.
What was the third part?
I screwed up the ordering of it around.
So if you ever watch this movie, just as soon as the thing blows up, just shut it off.
Yeah, because at that point everybody's dead. Yeah, the last 5 minutes is crap. Just to force in a happy ending.
You'll be slightly happier if you just shut it off as soon as the thing blows up. As soon as he blows up the brain.
And with that, this is the 31st watch of Groundhog Day, the first watch of Edge of Tomorrow. I'm Randy.
If I had my time again, I would do it all the same. I would I don't remember the rest of the lyrics to this song. Down.
Goodbye.